ample evidence that these are the right facets, as told through the stories of leaders like you who found their roadmap. Leaders like David and Alicia have found that path forward and have strengthened their presence to such an extent that they're now identified as senior-level succession candidates. They've learned more than they ever knew about how others perceive their presence and impact, and they've translated this knowledge into action. One of the big messages of this book is that by understanding how your intentions as a leader match up with perceptions, you can learn how to flex your style to gain trust, build alignment, lead change, inspire performance, and drive executional excellence. Why we have had executive presence wrong. We can all remember good leaders who have derailed or been stuck in a role, not understanding why. Tori Bellingham's colleagues in finance described her as an energetic, outgoing, authentic person. She exuded the polish, demeanor, and professionalism that you'd expect in an SVP of a multinational company. Her direct reports would have said she defined executive presence. However, those in senior management had their doubts. They saw a smart, promising leader who seemed passive and hesitant. They couldn't be more specific than that, but they cared enough about her future with the company to ask her HR business partner to find her a coach to help her with her executive presence. They were clear about one thing. They need to see change to consider her succession as a CFO. Naturally, this feedback was confusing to Tori. What exactly did they mean by executive presence? Executive presence has long been a mysterious X factor in leadership. Intuitively, people know it is important, but why? When asked to define presence, most people say, "I'm not sure, but I know it when I see it." When pressed for a definition, they offer responses such as commanding the room, gravitas, savvy, charisma, and polish. The trouble is that those words need their own definitions. They don't capture the deeper, more profound reasons to care about executive presence. Thinking about it as polish, image, wardrobe, or even confidence fails to acknowledge the nuanced aspects of a leader's impact that matter to driving organizational results. And after all, what leaders care about most is getting results. Shouldn't there be a better definition? Well, yes, there should. Perhaps you've been thinking that one of the most common ways to evaluate executive presence, i.e., the 360-degree model, achieves the goal of accurately assessing it. What's missing from typical 360 instruments is the science behind this specific area of leadership presence and influence. Often it is described as communication or influence. But what precisely is meant by those terms? Since the language is often vague, executive presence has never really been measured, which means it's remained a rather elusive concept. It's not that up to now we've had the definition all wrong, but neither does it seem that we've had it quite right. And this is frustrating for leaders as well as those who support talent and help leaders develop. They simply haven't had a reliable way to talk about it or the language to offer specific, actionable advice to leaders like Tori. The picture has been incomplete. It would be like coming upon a partially finished 1,000-piece puzzle, searching for the missing pieces in the box, only to discover they just aren't there. Our decision to research executive presence grew out of our desire to find the missing pieces and complete the picture. The result of several years of research, piloting, and work with clients is a science-based model that brings into full view the elements of presence. The model decodes the mystery by identifying 15 qualities that are tied directly to a leader's ability to drive organizational performance. Many of these qualities are largely unexplored areas of leadership presence, including aspects of character, such as integrity. They also encompass qualities we often don't talk about, like concern and intentionality. We don't ignore the more familiar topics like